It's an incredible day to be alive as a gacha gamer. Why? Because Alan Joe is here in this gacha game. And I love Alan Joe so much. You know why I love Alan Joe so much? It's because I have these innate desires, these desires that take hold, take control of me. They turn me into a man that is simply not who I am inside, and it's truly awful, and I don't like this side of me. Yet, I am so intrigued by what this person, this character, Alan Joe, does to me. And to be honest, I wanted to set all of my ideas straight. All of these ideas that have corrupted me to the highest of degrees. Alan Joe, you absolute foul creature. You're a foul in a good way. Because, Alan Joe, without you, where would I be? What would I be doing in life, Alan Joe? I goon to you. But here are 100 reasons as to why I goon to you. Boom, that's a good intro. We have to turn our brains off. We also have to be crass, but we also have to let go of these barriers that make us crass. Am I right or wrong? Number one. You know, where do I even start, Alan Joe? Where I have to start with reason number one. A reason that makes me goon to the highest of degrees, Alan Joe. It's because of your character design. It's so incredible, it's so amazing, and I absolutely love it. The way your outfit moves in the wind as you do your auto attacks, the way you sprint. And if we also dart our eyes a little bit, change our visual view. The second reason as to why I love Alan Joe is because of that very visible nipple nudge. It's subtle, yet it is enticing. It's what's the word? Revolting? What is another word? Is that word? It's repulsing, yet it is. We need another word for good. Another word for delicious. I never touched my penis to a little boy. Shut up, God. It's repulsing yet appetizing. Ellen Joe, you dirty individual. Speaking of dirtiness, reason number three. Ellen Joe, I like how you are not dirty. That's incredible. You gotta keep yourself clean, keep yourself washed off. And Ellen Joe, you, to be honest, you do that perfectly, incredibly awesome. Oh, fucking, this is so cringe to make. I have to let loose of my shame if this is gonna work out. And oh my goodness gracious, let's not forget about that other aspect that makes you so very special, Ellen Joe. Reason number four, the name Ellen Joe. There's something about it that makes me so absolutely so happy. Ellen Joe, Ellen Joe, Ellen Joe. Say Ellen Joe 3 times straight, you would have. Number five, Ellen Joe, you are a shining star in the night, yet you are so uncaring, and yet you blend so well into the crowd. Ellen Joe, you absolutely nonchalant individual. The way that you dress, the way that you act, the way that you do things, it's so absolutely enticing. I want to be crass, but I can't be crass, Ellen Joe. Look at the way she fancies her outfit, wears the clothes tight on the skin, covering up her qualities in order to blend in with the crowd. Number six, the sixth thing, Ellen Joe, your tail is so long and big and crazy. Why do you have a shark tail if not to make me angry and make me disgusted, make me repulsed? Yet the shark tail that you own is not so repulsing. It's really confusing as to why I think this way. It's confusing and I do not understand this whatsoever, Ellen Joe. Reason number seven, look into the apple of your eyes. What do I see but not a sea of butterflies? Ellen Joe, your eyes are like the endless sky that spans forever and ever, Ellen Joe. Number eight, this is good, I'm coasting finally. The way that you sneak, the way that you run around. I've said this so many times. You are so vibrant, so extravagant, yet the way that you sneak, the way that you hide underneath the covers, it's absolutely incredible how you really truly do this. Like in your cutscene video, you were like a normal high school person, yet you do undercover evil jobs. Number nine, Ellen Joe, you also work a 9-to-5 job while going to school for full time. Isn't that absolutely incredible? It goes to show just how incredible her work ethic is. She goes to school, she gets educated, she learns all the things about this world that you need to survive, yet she works a job on the side in order to provide for her family, in order to provide for herself. She does this all without a wink of rest, a wink of break. And also number 10, this part-time job that she works is also completely amazing. How can she possibly work this job? A job that is covered up as a house cleaning service, yet she doesn't clean homes, she cleans the bodies off the floor after she what's that word? After she mercilessly murders and murks the merman in the hollows. How can she do this without shedding a tear? It's absolutely incredible how she does this without batting an eye. Ellen Joe. Speaking of batting an eye, number 11. Ellen Joe, you would most likely be incredible at batting a bat in baseball, you freaking beautiful baby boy. Ellen Joe, number 12. Another thing that I like about you, Ellen Joe, another reason as to why I goon to you. You are not a baby boy, you're actually a teenage girl that is under the age of consent, yet that works for me. Why? Because I'm also under the age of consent. What is it? We're on 12, that was 12, so we're on 13. Number 13, you are under the age of consent, yet you are almost over the age of consent. It allows for a level of ambiguity. Oh my gosh, Ellen Joe, you are almost of age, yet you might be of age, kind of. School goes on for 2 years longer. You could be an adult, but you're also a high schooler, so there's some ethical standards at play here. Yet you're also just super attractive, and I want to goon my penis to you. So think about all of these factors at play. It's sort of like a teasing, taunting, a game of cat and mouse, Ellen Joe. This is reason number 13, I think. You are young, yet you are old, yet you are like borderline old and such. It allows for like a sort of game of, will I be a pedophile if I beat my penis to you? It's really interesting. Reason number 14. The way you walk up the stairs is absolutely phenomenal. Left, right, up, down. You walk up the stairs, yet nobody cares. Yet you walk without batting an eye at what the world thinks. You walk up the stairs absolutely incredibly. Oh, number 14. The way she speaks is absolutely phenomenal, making me jump up and down in my chair like a wild animal. Ellen Joe, you scoundrel, you individual, you bad yet beautiful. It's like a beautiful symphony. The playing of the notes of the piano, the chords strummed on the guitar, and yet even the beating of the drums. These beautiful sounds we are all familiar with is not a. Oh my fuck, is absolutely incredible, and I like the sound of that. We're skipping over this analogy. We're on number 15. Ellen Joe, oh my, wait. Ellen Joe, the way you look at me, are you not so charming as to charm my little balls off? How can you possibly say these words to me, Ellen Joe? I am yet a fragile individual. I'm just here and I'm just chilling here, and the way you bat your eye at me. Oh my goodness gracious. Would she be considered emo? She's like, nonchalant. That's the word. Number 16, you're not emo, yet you're so nonchalant. Ellen Joe, you bad individual. You are crazy. Number 16, Ellen Joe, you completely crazy individual. Think about the art style in which she talks and in which she announces her presence. It's represented by a shark, which is honestly a major feature about her body. She's very proud of her ethnicity, proud of her physical features, because these features truly make her up as an individual. It goes to show just how strong she is. She's so powerful, and she is so well aware with who she is as an individual, which honestly makes it much better. Number 17, look at her hair. These clippings, these accessories, they make no physical sense, yet they are so astounding. They are so inquisitating. I'm questioning my very existence thinking about these hair accessories. They're very weird. Metal chompers on the hair strand. How would that even work? These are metal pieces on the hair. They make no sense, yet they are so enticing. Ellen Joe, you are enticing as an wait. Ellen Joe, number 17. Are we on 17? Someone keep track. Number 17, Ellen Joe, you are so enticing as an Ellen Joe, you are so enticing as an individual. It makes me go absolutely insane in the brain. Like, think about it. Every single time I think about you as a person, Ellen Joe, I'm always left with questions. Why does she do this? Why does she do that? Why are you like this, Ellen Joe? It's so enticing. I don't know anything about her, and I question myself. And it makes me very interested with you as a person, Ellen Joe. You absolutely crazy and friggin' incredible individual. Ellen Joe, number 18. Someone keep count. Here, I know how to do this. 18. Okay, thank you, Serenity. Number 18, on the topic of accessories in which the human beings use accessories to that are attached to the body. Oh my goodness gracious, Alan Joe. Those accessories in which you paint the fingernails looks absolutely so incredible. A man could die of blood loss and death thinking about this. The balls could fall right off thinking about these things. Number 19, the way that you use our private bathrooms with such a charming sentiment is so crazy, Alan Joe. You are crazy. Are you gonna leave a super poopy surprise in the bathroom for me? Oh my goodness, Alan Joe. How could you do this? Number 20, Alan Joe. She's nonchalant. She is questionable. We don't know much about her, yet she does these crazy things for the sake of the bit. Going to use the private bathroom. Very weird, very interesting. Why are you looking at me with such an eyeball? You are weird. Yet, dude, there's not a single thing wrong with you, Alan Joe. We're at 20. We have to take a break. So what are our thoughts? Is this like good? This kind of cringe, to be honest. Yeah, it's pretty cringe. But here's the thing about satirical performances, it's cringe, but like I'm just cringe on purpose. This isn't truly me. This is all a facade for the sake of views and money. Basically all that's at play here. Don't overthink about it. I'm not weird. This is just a bit. That's what we call it. Hadoop, bro. Hadoop, bro. You've always been on my mind. Like how Alan Joe is always on my mind. Number 21. The 21st reason as to why I goon my little balls off to Alan Joe is because she's always on my mind. This is it's sort of a disease, you know. You ever think about things, the long-term memory, short-term memory, the hippocampus, it does things for the brains, okay? And for me, particularly, I'm always just thinking about you, Alan Joe. Okay, we need a new reason. Come on, Alan Joe, do something on screen, do something for me. You know what Belle says here is a very good, you know, good thing. Number 22. I think I was hallucinating just now. Yes, every waking move that you do, every movement, every action, every step of the way in which you walk makes me think that this world in which I'm living in is nothing more than a facade, nothing more than a simulation, nothing more than a video game. Because Alan Joe, the way that you move, the way that you operate has me thinking, has me confused. Gonna have to spin the top in order to differentiate whether or not I'm in the spooky land like in that one movie. Number 23, the way your name is spelled, Alan. Oh, Alan. Gosh, you are like a character that I like a lot in a video game, Alan Joe. E-double hockey stick, and that is the best name of all time. Not because the name itself is incredible, it's just the way that these letters are eloquently placed on the checkerboard of the word paper. I love reading this name so much. 24, Alan Joe, Alan Joe, Alan Joe, Alan Joe. We talked about your name for 3 points possibly, but this counts as its own point in its own right. Alan Joe is just the best name to say of all time. Alan Joe, Alan Joe, Alan Joe, Alan Joe. Say that 10 times fast without combing your pants. Brother, could you do that? Probably not. I know I can though. 25, Alan Joe. You taught me how to control myself. You taught me tenacity. You taught me willpower, Alan Joe. Because if it weren't for you, you know, I'd be losing control in public. But if it wasn't for you raising the bar, raising the standards so very high, then, you know, I wouldn't be in such a peculiar scenario, if you know what I mean. Alan Joe, number 25 now. We're on 25 now, right? Alan Joe, number 25. The way that you stand idle in my house is very interesting, very intriguing, and very incredible. It's almost like as if you made yourself at home within my home, dropping surprise bombs in the toilet, being nonchalant, just walking around. Makes me very, very super surprised with you yourself. Incredible. This is the first time we've seen Alan Joe's portrait in actual months. Number 26, Alan Joe. The way that you look in the default model section where Hoyoverse scraps all the time and effort in which they just stand around and do nothing while you wear a default template and while you do these pre-made animations that are probably keyframed in the animation studio. I'm still very intrigued by the way that you operate standing still, just looking at me in a certain specific way. Number 26, that mole on your left arm is very intriguing. How did that mole get there? Was that a birth defect that you got at birth? Number 27, the mole underneath your left eye. approximately right here. That mole is so interesting. Where did that mole come from? Were you shot and did the bullet leave a mark? Number 27. The mole over here underneath the left eye, approximately right here, is very interesting and intriguing and incredible. Love that mole very much. Is there anything else here? Number 28. You're starting to see why this sucks. It's just not even funny anymore. The bit's dead. I'm just dragging it on and on and on and on. And I have to do this for like 72 more times. Whatever. You're gonna have to tune me out or just get used to this. Alan Joe number 28. If we look down and down and down of your standing still character model, oh my goodness gracious, are those 3 bow ties on the side of your body? Number 29. Look at the spikes underneath your collar. Number 35, Ellen Joe, you're so nice. Ellen Joe, how much letters are in your name? E, double hockey stick, E-N, J-O-E. That's 8 letters, 8 letters. So we're on 35 right now. How about this? A Gooner point for every letter in your name. We're at 43 right now. Ellen Joe, number 50, you're humanizing. We already talked about that. But getting more specific, the way that you are so open about your school affairs is so absolutely incredible. Ellen Joe, there's no way you're telling me that you have a school project. You're telling me? Are you telling me? This is personal information. I'm so flattered. We gotta start throwing out some ideas, guys. I could keep count now, Serenity. Serenity, you gotta take your hands off the wheel. You gotta help me out. Everyone here, you gotta help me out. I'm running out of ideas. We're on 50 points, 50 traits already. And we have to get to 100. And we're almost there, I would say. It's not that it's hard for me. Like, I could just mindlessly yap and I could get to 100. But those words, those points that I would give her, they would have no substance whatsoever. So we need to put our brains together. Number 51, the finals, the video game. You play the finals, the video game, which is so. Ellen Joe is a gilf. You can't lie. Number 52, Ellen Joe, you are a gilf. Some guy said in chat, what is a gilf? Gilf definition. Can't look this up here. Granny, I'd like to. Number 52, I like you because in around 50 years you would be a gilf, which is very appealing. She's mysterious. I did mysterious for like 4 points. Serenity. I said she was like nonchalant, enticing, ambiguous. But she is one though, because shark years count more per human years. Is that true? Reason number 53, you are like a dog. You age fast. Shark years. Sharks, no, it's less. Sharks are like, they could grow up to like 1,000 years old. That means she's like probably a child if she was a shark. Number 54, that brings up a good point, Ellen Joe. You're a shark, which goes to, and it makes your age even more ambiguous than it already is. Because like, think about it. You're probably like 16 years old, probably because you're a kid in high school, but that's not confirmed though. It's still very ambiguous. You're in high school, yeah, you look old and you have a job and such. It's very ambiguous. Yeah, you're also a shark, half shark. Sharks age for long periods of time. That one shark has been alive since World War II, for example. So think about this. The shark tail, half shark, mutant-esque creature that you are, makes your age more ambiguous, which furthermore allows the Gooners to get a bigger kick out of jerking off to you. This only applies to the older ones. I'm young and I'm cool, so it doesn't really matter to me. But it's still a reason nonetheless you provide for the Gooner population, not just me only. Each human here could correspond to about 3 to 4 shark years. You are silly. No. 1 great white shark years is equal to 110 human years. So that means if Ellen Joe is 11, she goes down a year then. So that means if she's 18 years old, she's technically 17 years old, which means you can goon to an 18-year-old shark, but she's technically 17 years old. This is interesting. This improves that point even more. What are we on? 55 now. Number 55, Ellen Joe, I love how you have belt straps on places that really do not make much sense, which is pretty weird. Why do you have a belt there? Is it for the emo aesthetic? Why am I saying it's weird? I'm supposed to be gooning my penis to you. Ellen Joe, it's really beautiful. You make me think. Sorry, I think they're listening to me. Oh God, no. This is terrible. My camera has been blocking Ellen Joe this whole time. Why didn't you say anything? Dude, I've made most of my inferences based off of Ellen Joe's posture right here, and nobody said a thing. I was blocking her directly. Oh my goodness. Number 56, Ellen Joe, you're so understanding. I was right in front of your face for this whole stream, man, and we couldn't see you at all. And I was making inferences about your personal body parts while I was covering you, so the world couldn't see you. But the fact that you're just so apologetic to me is really just so sweet. Sounds so sweet, like a heartbeat. Number 57, your ambiguous shark mutant aging functionality that you have, which confuses the populace to the highest of degrees, because we don't know how old you are. We don't know if you're above the age of consent or below it. This whole idea, it's supported by the fact that you keep talking about doing school projects like you're in middle school. It really makes you think. It really gets the Gooners going. Oh my gosh, the way you talk about doing school projects, completely fascinating. Ellen is already imprinted in our heads. We didn't need to see here. Good point. Reason number 57, Ellen Joe. You're so completely so memorable in the brains of the populace that we don't even need a mental visual representation of you, because the overall concept that makes up Ellen Joe has been mass populated throughout the population of this world in which we live in. We know who you are, Ellen Joe. We know who you are. We know every aspect, everything that builds our concept higher and higher. It's basically imprinted into the eyelids of our brains. It's incredible. God, these feel like these are harder than the first one. Number 58, Ellen Joe. I really like, we haven't talked about them yet. Ellen Joe, Ellen Joe, I really like your boobs, Ellen Joe. Put that in the timestamps. That's a good one, I think. Number 59. You're just sitting there and you're just doing these gestures, and they loop on forever and ever, and it's kind of basic, to be honest. But like, while you're so standing still there, I could be on just stare at you for hours, Ellen Joe. You're so easy to stare at. Number 60. I'm gonna start pointing out the obvious because I'm running out of options. Ellen Joe, the way that your under part of your hair is red is so stylistic and different. It looks very incredible in game. To be honest though, that would probably not look too good in real life. But here's the thing, Ellen Joe. Number 61. You are a fake video game for Gooners to beat the penis to.
The things that your artistic design is in, the direction it's going in, is very interesting because they completely subvert the status quo of the physical appearances that are mostly seen in real life and such.
Ellen Joe, the way that you look in your demo trailer, it truly just. Number 63. Let's click on the video and see exactly what point 63 is. Been thinking about this very much because 63 is an important number. Think about Bloom's tower defense. It's the ceramic attack in which the ceramics are clumped up very majorly. Now let's just see what 63 is gonna be. Ellen Joe, in your demo trailer, the first thing that we see is your feet. But it's not your feet outright. It's your feet covered by the leather surface of your feet boots. And I just really love that. Why? Because Number 64, what's next? The way that you just move those feet around, dude. Move the feet a little more. 65, what's 65? I'm about to get my glasses fixed, so I might type slow. 63. Serenity, you don't gotta type. It's fine. I could keep count if you're like doing stuff, but you could still keep count for me because it's really helpful. Number 64, I think. Number 64, you waggling your tail around, like how you wiggle your feet around. Makes you think. Maybe the tail of you is like the feet of you. Number 64, the way that you sit in your chair is completely beautiful, and it goes to show just how well your character is designed. You kind of have the tail in the back plug, and it's kind of like a big nuisance in your life. And if we think about Nichijou, the anime, you know Nano, right? She has the key in her back, and she struggles in daily life, and she's looked at as a weirdo person. And if we look over here, if we look at you, point number 64, Ellen Joe, you have a tail and it stops you from sitting normally in chairs, so you have to do the chair sideways and such. Yeah. Number 65, Ellen Joe, you have a scar on your tail. And I remember I saw that one Reddit post. If a tail is scarred, that means you did breeding and mating. Okay. Ellen Joe, number 66. Oh goodness gracious, Ellen Joe, is that an iPhone X you have on your table? But number 67, your iPhone rings, and what do? Do you passively ignore your phone in order to give off the illusion that you're more busy than per usual? Do you do that? Or Ellen Joe, do you go and pick up your phone right away? Do you see that? What's that called? the in-between frames of her friend. Number 68, Ellen Joe, the way that your friend moves. Just based off of what we see right here, number 69. You're going to reach for the phone after the notification rings, yet your friends appear. What do? Do you take priority over the phone or friendship? Which one do you choose?
Give me a piece.
You choose friendship over phones, which is really good because this generation is in a terrible nation. Ellen Joe, the way that you give a peace sign and the way that you say cheese, cause this is a magic spell that makes your camera take your pictures, is just truly amazing how you do that. Ellen Joe, meta-wise, you're also extremely interesting as a character. Because let's just be honest, Ellen Joe, you've been majorly power crept by Miyabi. Miyabi just overshadows you completely. Made your normal team, your Mono Ice team, look like complete trash. It's literally the free-to-play comp. That's what it's called in game. You've been power creeped to such a high extent, but Ellen Joe, even though you're so power crept, even though this is just completely taken over your life by Miyabi, she's way better than you. Even though this is the case, you are still a character that I would think about pulling for, okay? It's interesting. It reminds me of this line from that one song, okay? The song goes like this. I could find me a good girl, but still be addicted to the hood rats, okay? Even though I found me a meta ice DPS, dude, I'm still addicted to the hood rats. I'm still addicted to Ellen Joe and wanting to have her onto my account. Ellen Joe, they're using your tail to literally wipe off the scratch card. That's so cool. Oh my god, this is so shit. Ellen Joe, the way that you have a loving embrace with those closest to you and around you is so beautiful and amazing. Ellen Joe, love it so much how you do this. This is so incredible how you do this. Love this very much. Ellen Joe, I wish you'd do that to me. My balls are goonable, and I want to goon the balls to you. Ellen Joe, please, dude. Please let me do that, Ellen Joe. We're on 73. We're gonna go to 75. We're just gonna skip a bunch of numbers. Number 75, Ellen Joe. During this recording, my controller died. The way you sucked me dry is like how you sucked my controller battery dry. I can now no longer play the game Triple Z because you sucked your dry battery, Ellen Joe, you foul creature. How could you have possibly done this? Ellen Joe, number 76. Back to being relatable, Ellen Joe. You received the loving embrace of a friend that's so close yet so far, but look at your face, you're completely in disgrace. Number 77. Despite the fact that you're being disgraced and dishonored by this friend that is so close yet so far away, you are still hugging back, which goes to show just the character of you. You show love despite that, even though you're in pain. What are the lyrics of this song even? Give me a peace sign. Wait, this is number 78. The lyrics of your song is so good. Give me a peace sign and say cheese, cause this is my magic spell that makes the camera take cute pictures, flush out away your sorrows. The fine show tomorrow will be a great day to hang out. 79. Even if there are always worries you can't hide, I'm by your side. Implying that Ellen Joe, despite the fact that Ellen Joe is so heavily held down and tied down by her accountabilities as a man working the double life, still has time to be by the side of her friends, the ones that they hold close. Number 79. Number 80. The way that you perch off of this particular ledge, in to be specific, is really cool, and I like it how you perch off this ledge in specific. Ellen Joe, the way that you jump off of this building, number 81, implies that you were very suicidal. Yeah, you're not actually killing yourself, you're actually going into working in the double F like Gru from Despicable Me 2. This symbolization of you jumping off the edge could be a sort of analogy as well, like when you jump off and when you die, you're reborn in the new life, in the double life of the Gru. This is getting terrible, this is awful, this is awful, this is awful. 82. Luscious outfits. Also, God, I want to also point out the amazing lyricism. Let's change outfits. Uniforms don't define who we are. Oh my goodness. This line is great yet very ironic because she's talking about how she's changing outfits because being in the uniform, it doesn't really define who we truly are. Yet if we go to the show, we see her change outfits. She goes from her uniform, what does she change into? Oh, into her other uniform. She's saying that uniforms don't define our, what is it? Uniforms don't define who we are. yet she's jumping from uniform to uniform, which doesn't really work with this analogy. If this analogy held true, then she would most likely change into her normal street clothes, showing that she's not a slave to the school system. It's just honestly pretty weird lyricism over here, which is 82. But while it's so weird, it's so good. That's all I have to do to salvage it whenever I say something negative. Number 83. Let me clean up and show them the shining star. When I try, they're surprised. At just how well I'm doing, all these works put me to sleep. Goes to show, Ellen Joe, you are so nonchalant, and this line proves it a lot. Is it cannibalism if Ellen eats sushi? It's like asking if it's cannibalism if I eat a dog. No, I'm eating a dog. A dog isn't a human despite the fact that they're a mammal. If Ellen Joe eats like a whale shark though, that would be pretty gross and cannibalism. Number 83, if Ellen Joe eats a whale shark, is she a cannibal? These questions like these make me goon to her. I want to say that again because I don't want to edit it like hard. Oh, that's a very good point, chatter who said that. Point number 83. If Ellen Joe eats a whale, getting annoyed, willfully moody, stubborn, throw a tantrum. Hey, did I scare you? Run. This lyricism of this Ellen Joe song is completely incredible.
On number 84, she's saying getting annoyed, willful, moody, stubborn, throw a tantrum, showing her emotional outbursts that life within the surface level in which she puts on, the facade in which she puts on. And then she says, run, oh my gosh, run away. It's okay if you need space. I won't cut you off, despite these horrible, terrible factors that are really bad. She won't cut you off, even though really great stuff.
I have an idea on how to speed this up. Ellen Joe's name spelled backwards is Iojnel. I'm gonna give a point for every letter that is in her name spelled backwards. Let's go ahead and do that. Which means we're on, what is that, 93? Ellen Joe, what does Ellen Joe's name backwards sound like in Japanese? If I get the pronunciation right, then that's equivalent to 1 Gooner point for Ellen Joe. Iojinere. Oh, he got it right. Is that... What is that? Is that a hearing aid? Is Ellen Joe deaf? Ellen Joe pulls out a hearing aid in her ear. Number 95. She pulls out a hearing aid in her ear, which implies that she's deaf. And even though she's deaf, she still destroys the hearing aid that looks kind of like a shoelace. For 96, I truly love how Ellen Joe syncs the attack patterns to the beat of the drums. Number 96, I really like Ellen Joe's scissor weapon. It really paints a terrible and brutal picture in my mind whenever I think about how she could possibly use this weapon on me. If you think about this, if Ellen Joe uses the scissors to cut my body into pieces, then I will most likely be dead. And the fact that Ellen Joe has the ability to kill me really turns me on somehow. Ellen Joe, for number 98. Oh, we have to end it with a bang. We're just doing equally shit options for the last 5. To be honest, as I've gone through life, as I've played Triple Z, and as I led a life of my own, I've really never went and started to realize just truly how big of an effect Ellen Joe has had on my life. I'm starting over my words because, to be honest, I'm really sentimental right now thinking about Ellen Joe, about each and every one of her features, each and every one of her tendencies, you know, just going through life thinking about Ellen Joe. Truly, okay, we have to restart. Looking back, you know, Ellen Joe she's really attractive, and I like to beat the penis to her. I can't get sentimental right now. I'm already out of juice. I need a refill on juice. How do we refill on juice? By looking at comments. Wait. Once again, I failed to understand why the West cares so much about the age of a drug. Why do they talk about the West so much? I'm not even from the West. Number 99. In your video thing, I could tell that the developers got really lazy with the B-roll, so they used very simplistic shapes to pass the time before the beat drops, before we go back to the actual gameplay, which showcases your kit fully, which is I know it sounds really bad, but it's bad in a good way. All right, now for number 100. Can we all put our heads together for number 100? To be honest, okay, number 100, I really like Ellen Joe's ultimate ability. It looks really nice how she is so nonchalant and she doesn't care. Now I'm gonna go beat my penis to Ellen Joe while thinking about each and every one of these points that I talked about.